All right. Well, let's get started. Welcome again for joining us for the International Observe the Moon Night event planning webinar. As I mentioned earlier, whether this is your first time planning an event or your seventh time, I'm here today with my colleagues, Kayla Berry and Sandlin Buxner. I'm Teresa Summer. I work with the Astronomical Society of the Pacific. And in this webinar, we're going to tell you about the International Observe the Moon Night program, highlight some of the resources from the Night Sky Network, and hello to all the Night Sky Network astronomers on here. The host of the webinar and this amazing program has so many great supporters and people involved. So we're going to talk about the program resources that are available for you and how we evaluate the events so that we can improve them all the time. We're going to have time for questions at the end, but we'll try to answer any questions you have during the webinar. Just put them in the chat or put them in the Q&A for later on. I am gonna ask my co-hosts to join me in introducing themselves. Kayla, you want to get started?
Hey everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Kayla Berry, and I'm calling in from NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. I'm a part of the Observe the Moon coordinating team. I work mostly on website and digital resources. And I can kick it to Sandlin.
Hello, I'm Sandlin Buxter. I am at the Planetary Science Institute here in Tucson, Arizona, and also working with the team on the coordinating committee. And I do a lot of how we tell the story of how great it is. So we run a lot of the evaluations and support. Again, just making the stories come alive of all your programs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sandlin and Kayla. And we're all on the International Observe the Moon Night Steering Committee, but we also work for our own organizations doing different things. I'm with the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, as I mentioned before, hopefully. And we are happy to join you. I wanted to tell you a little bit about a couple of things that are coming up, free events that the Astronomical Society of the Pacific is putting on. We are going to be having a film with Wilfred Buck, who is an indigenous astronomer. It's a free showing, and we'd love for you to join us for that. We also are going to have, if you look in the chat, it's in there. Thanks, Brian. We also are having it as our kickoff to our one-day symposium. And if you fill out the survey at the end of our session, you might win one of two free comp tickets for our symposium. Does anyone else from ASP want to mention anything about the, oh, and Chanel just put that in the chat as well. Next slide, Viv.
Yeah, I wanted to mention a couple of things since thank you for asking if we had something to share here. So we have the Wilfred Buck film coming up on Thursday or Wednesday evening, August 20th. And that's the kickoff for the ASP symposium. It's an all-day symposium featuring 16 thought leaders from across astronomy and astronomy education. And they're going to be joining us for 4 different panel discussions on Thursday, August 21st. And so that's what you'll be able to see what you'll be able to enter the raffle for 2 free tickets to that event. You can learn more. Chanel put the link in there for that. And so we'd love to have everyone join us, whether or not you're able to be at the Wilfred Buck film or not. But the Wilfred Buck film is completely free. And so we'd love to be able to see you at that. And so the registration link is just a little bit higher for that. Also, we want to mention that we have Cosmic Conversations coming up next week. And on what date is that? Wednesday, August 13th, I believe it is. And so we'll find the registration link and add that to the chat here in just a couple of minutes. And I want to check in with either Kat or Vivian and see if they have any announcements that they need to make.
I think we're all good this month. Look forward to seeing many of you next week at the Cosmic Conversations.
And so back to Teresa.
Oh, there was one question in the chat that we'll put up the link to the poll at the end, and that's when you can register.
Oh, I think for the polls, they might have been talking about the poll that's on the next slide, which is we're trying to figure out who is here. And so I'll put that poll up for folks that are joining us live. And if you are interested, you can if you can't see it on your screen from the chat, you can put the answer in the chat. And you can pick more than one. I know there's a lot of space enthusiasts that are on this call. There might be solar system ambassadors, eclipse ambassadors, scientists, teachers, parents. Um, so I'd love to just know who's here. Lots of amateur astronomers coming in. So far, we're at 85%. Some informal education people, some librarians. I'll give you guys just another minute to put your selection in the poll.
And we have a lot of solar system ambassadors joining us on YouTube tonight.
Oh, fantastic. And as we mentioned, sometimes when you're joining from your phone or something, you might not have the ability to respond to the poll. So feel free to put your answer in the chat or answers. Okay, I'm going to end the polls. You can see who is here. A lot of amateur astronomers and a lot of informal educators and some sprinkling of teachers and librarians and quite a few space enthusiasts, as I've imagined. So all of you, welcome, and we're happy to have you here. I'm going to turn it over to Kayla. She's going to tell us a little bit more about the program. Next slide.
Thanks, Teresa. Let's take it back one for just a minute and highlight some images from lunar observers around the world. This program, it's a global program, it's an annual program that really comes to life thanks to the passion and work of local community leaders and individual observers all over planet Earth. I think we'll see some details later, but like last year, if you observed with us, you observed with more than 1 million people in more than 120 countries. And so I want to start with a huge thank you to you, our community, our past and present and future collaborators and event hosts. And here are just a few images from recent years that people have submitted, sharing their perspectives in our collaborative Flickr gallery. We have a collaborative Flickr gallery again this year, and we'll invite you all to share your perspective, how you observe with us and with your fellow observers around the world. Next slide, please. Okay, if you're like me and your first instinct is to speed read this slide, don't worry, we're going to take a moment here. We're going to spend a little quality time with these program goals and just orient to why we're here, why we do this program. Our first goal is to unite people across the globe in a celebration of lunar observation, science, and exploration. We are also here to provide information and a platform and resources in order to raise awareness of NASA's lunar science and exploration programs and empower people to learn more about the moon and space science and exploration using Earth's moon as an accessible entry point. This is something that people all around the world, many of us can see, even if we live in a light polluted area, even if we don't have access to special equipment. The moon is a great entry point for learning about our solar system and universe, and even for learning about Earth. We want to facilitate sharing of moon-inspired stories and images and artwork and more. Connecting to the moon is a human experience that crosses disciplines. It's not just about science and technology and exploration, although those things are a big part of our story at NASA. We want to inspire continued observation of the moon and the sky and the world around us beyond International Observe the Moon Night. And we want to support all people who are interested in learning more about and connecting to the moon. So that's why we're here. Thank you for being here with us and being a part of this project. Next slide, please. Normally, our International Observe the Moon Night date each year is around a first quarter moon, and this is on purpose. The first quarter is a lovely phase for evening observing. Just as here on Earth, at sunrise and sunset, we see really long, dramatic shadows that add emphasis to the landscape. On the moon, along the line between day and night, which we are displaying in this Alero image here, there are long dramatic shadows too, and those make for really stunning viewing of lunar landforms along that strip of the lunar surface in particular. We schedule International Observe the Moon Night each year, also based on some other considerations. Like we know from evaluation data that Saturdays are good for a lot of our event hosts, so it's always on the Saturday. We do our best not to conflict with major religious holidays and festivals, or more realistically, to balance which ones we're conflicting with from year to year. And we always schedule in September or October in the fall. So as a result of all those considerations, this year, our date falls a little bit closer to the waxing gibbous phase. On International Observe the Moon Night, the moon will look like the picture you see here. And as a result, our custom moon map for this year's event is going to highlight some lunar locations that are a little bit different from what you may have seen in the past if you are returning to join us again. I see some great comments popping up in the chat. Thanks everyone for participating in the conversation. I will go ahead and pass it over to Samlin for our next
Awesome.
slide.
Thank you, Kayla. So what we want to show off with these wonderful pictures is that International Observe the Moon Night celebrations look different. They look different all along around the world and in your community, and that's how it's supposed to be. These are supposed to be driven by you. And so, we provide structure and resources and tools to connect and learn to celebrate the moon, but we want you to take the event and make it your own based on the resources you have, what's special in your community, needs and interests for everyone. And so you might have a more science focused event, or maybe you might have a more art focused event, whatever, a blend of it. It can be big, it can be small, and it can be anything. So you get to determine what you're doing. We're going to share on our participant map so people can get a public. So if you have something that you want people to join you, when you register, you'll be able to see it on the map. But you also have the option of just doing something with family and friends or by yourself, and you don't have to put that on the map, but you could still register it and we'll collect that data. We want to make sure, you don't have to have a new event. So if you have an astronomy night once a month, we encourage you to just integrate it. We're not asking you to try something totally new unless you really want. We want you to leverage the resources that you have, or a monthly speaker series, or even a movie night, just to make that part of International Observe the Moon Night. And so we want everyone, teachers, parents, astronomers, amateurs, planetariums, to just have all the flexibility to make this something that really fits into the programming and is something that you'll be really happy with. The last thing we want to talk about is that we have a whole range of dates. And so we do have a date that we'll talk about, but you can register right around that date because we know there are football games and school plays and things like that. And so we just want to let you know there's a lot of flexibility to still be part of our programming, to get on the map, to get the recognition, and to invite people to your program. Next slide, please. We just wanted to show off how thrilled we are, and Kayla is totally right. This is because of all of you. Last year, again, was another banner year, a record-breaking year. We had over 6,500 total registrations, including events, families, and individuals on all 7 continents, with an estimated 1.3 million participants. And so we do that by taking survey data, registration data, social media data, and we combine them. But this is how it looked across the whole world. We had participants in all 50 US states and in our territories, DC and Puerto Rico. And like Kayla said, we have had, right, About 160 total countries in the 15 years that we've been doing this. So we are thrilled and we want to just keep going with all of that. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, perfect. And so what we want to just say is that we are going to be celebrating 16 years. It's incredible that this has been going. So now International Observe the Moon Night in the United States could get a driver's license. We're very excited about that. And we just want to say, like, we always like to go back to our roots. It was inspired by celebrations at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center and NASA Ames, celebrating the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and Lunar Crater successfully arriving at the moon in 2009. And they were so successful that we keep celebrating. We're bringing in all the amazing new parts of NASA and international moon work. And so we're so excited. And here are some just amazing pictures from last year. Okay. Teresa.
Hi, everybody again. Thanks, Sandlin. I want you to take a moment and think back to a memory that you have of the moon. It might have been when you were a child, it might have been yesterday, but just like one of your favorite memories of the moon. You might have had a beautiful memory with your family or seen it the first time you've seen it through a telescope. But just think about that for a moment. Next slide. So what made this this moment rather, so memorable? I want to add just a link in that I'm going to put in the chat, and what it is for a word cloud. If you can put a word or two or three about your memory. Unfortunately, we can't do this on YouTube, but for the folks that are live, if you could just put in a word or two, and then we'll share the word cloud with everyone. Um, and someone put in the chat community because they couldn't get in there. Yeah. And you're welcome to share your thoughts on there. A lot of times, who we're with makes a very memorable event. Okay. And if you see, there's lots of images that are coming out. I see eclipse, craters, family, telescope, Artemis, camera's resolution. So you guys have seen a lot of really amazing things, it seems like, that made that memory special. I also see that someone put in their hands-on activities. And if we go to the next slide, that is something that maybe a lot of you are thinking about. So I'm going to tell you both about how to connect with an astronomer, or if you are an astronomer already, what resources you can share at the event. So this picture is from the Night Sky Network, and a lot of you might be wondering, what is the Night Sky Network? We've mentioned it quite a few times. In 2004, there was NASA and ASP launched the NASA's Night Sky Network to support amateur astronomy clubs across the country who are already doing great outreach. But with the network, we can support that outreach with materials and content from NASA. And our motto really is making NASA science real, right under the night sky. In addition to the materials and training that we provide, there's also a public portal to help their audiences find them. And that's what we're going to talk about. Next slide, please. There's more than 400 clubs across the country. If you look at this map, you can see where there are people, there are clubs. We're not everywhere, but we are in every state. Because looking at the sky, you might say, is a universal passion. Right? Kayla's going to talk in a little bit about Astronomers Without Borders, and their astronomy clubs are everywhere. But when you think about the Night Sky Network, you might be thinking, oh, well, there's somebody near me. How can I connect with them? Next slide, please. Um, So how can I connect with the Night Sky Network, this collection of clubs? Amateur astronomers, as most of the folks that are here know, they're people who love the night sky and want to share it with others. And astronomy clubs are groups of amateur astronomers. So when you're trying to connect with these people, go to the next slide, please. To find amateur astronomers near you, you just go to the website and start by clicking the clubs and events tab. It's right on the top. We recommend going to an event or a club meeting to connect with someone because these are amazing volunteers and they might not have enough time to come to you, but if you go to them, you will have an amazing experience. And then also, if you, after you connect with your astronomer, if you're interested in finding resources, so if you go to the next slide, you'll see there's also a resources tab. And there you're going to find all kinds of fun activities that you can add to your event. We just entered Moon into the search bar to find all of these resources. Two of them are the first two that you can see on those slides are two of many. That Weird Ways to Look at the Moon was just updated by Kat last month. And all of the activities that I'm going to mention are going to be found by just kind of scrolling down if you're interested in using these activities. One thing I also want to mention on this screenshot of our webpage is the Celebrate Our Marvelous Moon banner. It's like a calendar of cultural events that humanity has in connection with the moon. And you can print one of those out if you're interested in it. And just go to that link and it will have that for you. Next slide, please. Also, we talked earlier about the lunar map. It is made special by International Observe the Moon Night every year. But Night Sky Network has maps also that for the different times of the year. So INOM's map has specifically made for our time of viewing the moon, but you can also access those all year round. And also we have the International Observe the Moon Night has a daily moon picture that you can get some information from there as well. And so this next resource is about the lunar phases, and it is printable as well, or you can just use it from the web page. It has all of the waxing phases of the moon. That's when the moon is getting bigger, and each page has information on different aspects of the moon that you can highlight when you're sharing it. The history, the colors, the craters, the Maria, and more. So that's a really wonderful resource that I want to share with you. Next slide, please. Um, this is it's called Lunar Legend cards, but it's some of these stories are more than legends. They're uh, about heroes and events from all around the world. And so, what we want to challenge visitors to see the images from the different cards. And that leads to more careful observation when you're looking in to find something. It also empowers people to tell their own stories. Next slide. Because this is just a cutoff of one of the stories that we got. On the top, it has a picture of the full moon, and then you can see the images that and then write your own story. So this was one that we got from a little boy who was about 5 or 6. No, probably closer to 9 now that I'm remembering. Um, Once upon a time, a painter was painting a farmer's fence. Then the farmer said, "Let's have a seesaw battle." So the painter did. When they did, the painter accidentally brought the paint up, and the farmer made the painter go higher into space, and the painter spilled the paint. So I think this is a really kind of unique kids' view about seesaws, and that's kind of one of the things that you can do with this activity is have people create their own um, stories. There's also really fun activities for basic questions that you might get, like can you see the flag on the moon? Uh, so not with your naked eyes, barely with the Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, but there's all kinds of information that helps explain what that is, why that is. Next slide. Now you already know sort of how you can connect with an astronomer and activities you can do. I just want to talk a little bit more about your event. It's fine to just observe with your family or friends or neighbors. If you want to connect with more people, however, you can consider tying the event to a local event that's already occurring, and it's a lot less of a heavy lift, like soccer games, downtown Saturday events like art walks, fairs, planetarium shows. I know a lot of planetariums like to show Dark Side of the Moon laserium. So those kind of things are a wonderful way to connect to already happening events. If you go to the next slide, there's local connections that you can have with libraries, parks, schools, Rotary clubs. If you go to NASA at My Library, you can check the book list. You can talk to the people in your community to get resources. It's really fun to have like a reading of a moon related story. Next slide. Again, your everybody's events are different, and we really want you to make it your own. It's not necessarily tied that if you don't have a telescope, you can still have an amazing event. A lot of good events happen in the daytime. They can be in a baseball field, outside a community center. And so part of the moon that will be up that night will be out during the daytime. So go to a daytime event. One more slide, please. So this is the Oklahoma City Astronomy Club's International Observe the Moon Night event from a while ago, but I love it because this event literally had people walking on the moon. It was too bright because it was like a carnival atmosphere for people to see many features of the moon in the sky. So they projected it onto the ground, and it really made all the participants able to be astronauts. And I want to encourage you to make it your own, whether it's about literature or art or science or observations. We can all participate in the ways that we would like. I'm going to turn it over to Kayla because she can talk more about partners you can have and how to register your events.
Yeah, let's get into website resources from moon.nasa.gov/observe. Most of what I'm going to go over is available to you on this URL that I just dropped into the chat. So if it's helpful for you to click along or explore on your own, you're welcome to do that. And I've seen a couple of comments pop up that tie right into what we've been talking about. As Teresa said, we'll have some more time for Q&A at the end, but I'll just call out along the way. I saw someone is planning to collaborate with organizers at the local Mid-Autumn Festival and use the synergy of those things, of that festival being timed close to International Observe the Moon Night. That's awesome. And it sounds like we have one of the sponsors of the Library Telescope program on the call. So thank you to you and your team. We love recommending you all. You might see your name on a slide coming up, the name of your organization. See which part of the page I screen grabbed. Okay, so back to the website for now. One of the core functions that we provide on the NASA side is a system for people around the world to register their events, make those events findable by others, and then for people to come in and search and see what's happening either in their local area or virtually that they may want to plug into. So when you visit our website, you will find a big prominent button at the top, register, and that'll take you to the options for adding your public event or your private or household event, or even your individual participation to the map. Next slide, please. We try to provide resources to make hosting an event as painless as possible, especially if this isn't the kind of thing that maybe you do on a regular basis. So we have a how to host guide. We provide a sample event timeline that people can take and leave and deviate from as it makes sense for them. We provide recommended event materials and ways to find local partners to collaborate with like the ones Teresa was just sharing. Next slide, please. Like Night Sky Network, we can't speak highly enough about contacting a local astronomical society or club. We also have some NASA resources like the Speakers Bureau and Solar System Ambassadors, and information about that is available on the Find a Partner page, along with Library Telescope Program. Thank you, Library Telescope Program. Event materials that you may wish to use to help promote your event include a press release template, save the date cards, we have a video trailer. Our graphic designer on our team, V Nguyen, made this lovely artwork behind me and has created many other shareable graphics that are freely available to use. And if you would like to create your own ads and graphics for your event, we also have a logo and style guide that is available. Next slide, please. I'll add one more place to go in your search for hands-on activities. You already got lots of excellent ideas from Teresa. We do also have a curated activities page on the Observe website, so just another tool in your toolkit. Next slide, please. And every single year, your evaluation data tells us that our most used resource is our event-specific moon map. Just in the last couple of years, we've been able to provide an interactive version of the moon map as well as a PDF version. And that's what I'm showing a sample of here. You'll find recommendations for things to look at with a telescope, recommendations for Mare to view on the date of the event, and information about Apollo landing locations. And this is still available in PDF form too. So if it works really well for you to print this out and have it on hand physically at your event, that is totally an option. Next slide, please. Oh, there's that PDF version. And Teresa called out the Daily Moon Guide. Thanks, Teresa. That's one URL that is in a different place, so I'll drop that in the chat. And that's a way for you to engage with lunar reconnaissance orbiter data specific to every day of the year and get viewing recommendations and supporting imagery and information. Next slide. So we have a few new things this year to add to our list of classics. We have added to our multimedia collection a couple of display banners. So this is something that, maybe it depends on your format. It depends on your printing resources. We've had some questions about is there something I can print out in large format to have at my event? And the answer now is yes. Here's a vertical and a horizontal banner. If that's something you're looking for, these files are available for you this year. Next, please. We have put together this year a pretty big list of curated video recommendations covering lunar science, covering Artemis, basics about the moon. So these are mostly short videos that may be a good fit if you're hosting a structured program and you're looking for short form video content to bring in. It also includes NASA Plus Space Out Moon Edition. If you haven't encountered NASA Plus Space Out before, it's just a pleasant ambient space experience with visuals and unstructured sound. I shouldn't say unstructured sound, but it's not a presented program. So there's a link to that in the curated videos for this year. And we will this year again be offering a longer form video product as well, the NASA broadcast. We're going to make it available ahead of the event date this year. It'll be about half an hour long. And so if you're looking for a longer program to show in an auditorium that is delivering what's new from NASA in a way that's organized and flows nicely, and you don't have to think about what goes where, we'll have that out for you towards the end of September. Next, please. The last thing I want to highlight that's new for this year is this resource one pager. And the need that this is designed to meet is say you are at a library front desk and you want to have something available that people can just pick up and take with them that makes all of these resources really easy to find, or you are at a park, or you are part of a network where you're communicating with community leaders who might be interested in hosting an event. This is just a go-to that lays out some of the most popular items on our website and hopefully makes them easy for people to navigate. And all three of these resources are available on our multimedia page on the Observe the Moon Night website. Next slide, please. So this year's main program date is October 4th, but like Sandlin said, we want to be flexible. We want to be meeting everyone where they are. You can register events in our system through the weekend after and the weekend before. That's the size of the window that the system can handle. And we've got that save the date ready for you to share with the main program date if that's the one we're using. We hope you'll join us. Next slide, please. The way to keep getting updates about what's coming out and what's new is by signing up for our newsletter. You can continue to see how people from around the world observe the moon as the program approaches on that collaborative Flickr gallery, which is linked all over our website. And you can keep an eye out for hashtag Observe the Moon on NASA's social media and use hashtag Observe the Moon to participate in the conversation. In the past, if you've been following us on social, you've seen updates come out on NASA Moon. That account is no longer active, so the primary accounts that will be sharing information about Observe the Moon Night this year are Learn with NASA and NASA Solar System. And you'll see those linked from the old social media accounts, and we'll have those links live on the website soon as well. Next, please. Over to Sandlin.
Yay, okay. So we love getting feedback. We love getting constructive criticism and hearing wonderful things and things that need to get better. And we just want to always say that we are only better because of all of our amazing participants and hosts who help us. And so every year we're collecting data. We'll be asking for data from hosts. You'll see a host survey come out. It's really short and sweet. For those of you who did it a few years ago, it was really long. It is like 10 questions, really, really amazingly short. And we'd love to get that. And it's helping us make changes in the program to really support the needs of you and our community. Next slide. A couple of examples that have led to improvements, right? So understanding the kinds of moon maps we need, the dynamic moon maps when we need them, has really led to some great innovations. Another really nice example is having a fillable press release, fillable kind of any asset that you can use so that you can make these things your own. And this all came from asking all of you your opinion. And so we continue to ask. And so we're asking early that please take about 5 minutes to fill out the survey after your event so that we can continue to innovate. Next slide. We do have if you want to do a more formal evaluation, and when I say formal, I mean collecting any data about your own program, we have kind of a guide. I'll give you the highlights here, but you're always welcome to read. There's a PDF on the website, and you can always just reach out to me, and I would be happy to work with you. But really, it's thinking about what is it you want to know about your program? Like, what's the goal? Like, do you want to bring more people to your site or your club? Do you want to raise awareness? Do you want to increase understanding about the moon? Just really understanding, like, do you just want to have a big community and family event? So what is it you actually want to know? Maybe you want to know people's zip codes or how much coffee they drink. It's totally fine, but you just kind of think about what you want to know. And that's a great conversation to have with all the folks that you are working with, volunteering with, all the stakeholders you have. Next slide, please. And then you might think about how might you collect that data? And so, yeah, some people like to do surveys, like we seem very survey based. Maybe you can use a QR code to have people do it on your phone, but it doesn't have to be a survey or an interview. It could be a sticker board where you ask a binary question like, did you have fun tonight? Or right? Did you learn something new? Or will you come back? Or is this your first time here? You can have people just write on a chalkboard or on an open board. You can have people take pictures and post them. There's so many great ways to collect some data based on what you want to know. And so again, we are happy to work with you on that. Next slide, please. Show you some examples of just something really basic like a sticker board or like you could have a little coin drop, things like that. But you can also use, we have a very short survey that also collects data that goes into our aggregate. And so on the right, you'll see this QR code. This QR code goes to what we call our Lunar Observer Survey, which is a short, less than 1 minute survey that we would love to have out there. And then it gets implemented and aggregated in all the data that we get from across the world. And so you can do something very local, or you can kind of feed into our collective, or both. We'll see. But we just wanted to show you that. And again, there is a PDF on the website for thinking through this, and we're happy to work with you. Next slide, please. What happens when we do collect all this data is we get registration data, we get all this kind of numbers, but then on the left, you'll see we're able to make some inferences, right? So we're able to say, like, how many people said they learned something new about lunar science and exploration? And so we're really excited to get to report that. Or we have a question, are people interested in learning more? And so this is what ends up going into that wonderful kind of summary after the event. And you can do this so that you can have it for your own institution. And so you are also welcome to just take the survey we have and copy it. That's totally fine. And use it for your own. Next slide. We will be sending out again a host survey for all y'all for, again, if you're hosting one person or 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000, but it's just a one-page survey to tell us about your event, resources you used, feedback on resources, and just how to better support you. We will be emailing that out in October, so after you do your event, but we just want to say, please give us a little feedback on that. And this is my last slide. So again, the Lunar Observer Survey, this is the exact same QR code. There is a bit.ly there that goes with it that we'll share, but this is just to get anyone's feedback, whether again, you're at home observing, or if you want to put this up on the planetarium dome for people to tell us how your event was. That would be fantastic.
Thank you, Sandlin. I really appreciate your focus on evaluation, because it really does make a huge difference to us. We love learning what we did right and what we could improve upon. So I really want to invite all of you that are here tonight and are watching the program on YouTube, register your event so that people can get to you and find out where you're at, and then they can attend the event. So that's a really useful thing to do. Someone put in the chat that they've already done it. Fantastic. I'm just going to put that in the chat so that you, if you are ready right now, you can register right now. Well, we also want you to fill out the survey for us. So I'm going to put two things in the chat. One of them is going to be how you can register your event, where to register, and the other is going to be our survey for tonight. We just want to know what you found enjoyable, what you might use in your event. And so this is just a little bit of feedback that we always ask for after a webinar. It's only a few questions. It'll only take you a couple minutes. So I'll put that there as well. And thank you so much for joining us. Can you do the next page? Please, again, take our post-webinar survey. We want to look forward to hearing about your event that you're doing for International Observe the Moon Night. And I'm going to close the slides now, and we can focus on you. And if you have questions, there's a Q&As. There's a lot in the chat that we've seen. So if we can, I will scroll back, but if there's any questions on YouTube as well, Kat, can you pass those along to us?
I sure can. One of the questions we had was, are there maps printed for the Southern Hemisphere?
Great question. The International Observe the Moon Night event maps are available in Northern and Southern Hemisphere editions, so you can choose which one you'd like to use. And the Daily Moon Guide, you can also toggle which view you prefer.
Oh, we have a great question from Denise Gregg. And she says, is registering an event automatically going to put it on the NSN calendar for her club? Unfortunately, we can't do that for some reason. They're not our registration forms don't speak to each other. However, if you put it on the NSN calendar and put a note that it says moon when you register your event, we will transfer it over for you. So you don't have to file it out twice. If you want to fill it out twice, you're welcome to, but just put it on the NSN calendar and we can go from there.
Thank you, NSN.
I see that John raised his hand. Can you put your question in the chat? Oh, it says the chat cannot be saved tonight. Can we forward the links to the registration participants at some time after the webinar? Yes, yes, we can. We probably will be able to make all of the slides that you've seen tonight available after this. So that will be something we can share with you.
I will add that they'll also be in the YouTube video, so we'll put those in all the comments, not in the comments, but in the description under the YouTube video. So you can see the video again. If somebody asked earlier if this was going to be recorded, it is. You can always find it on YouTube, and I'll throw the link in here.
I want to make sure we get David's comment or question in the Q&A. So is the moon map available as a Newtonian image?
What do you mean? I'm not sure. I can talk to somebody who might be able to help answer that. Unless if you want to try asking the question in a different way, happy to try again.
Do you mean like as a Newtonian telescope image or? Yeah, I also was wondering what that term was and how it relates to the moon map.
Oh, a flipped image.
Ah, great question.
Ah,
So because different kinds of optical configurations have different output orientations, we just released one, and we'll trust you all to identify how that relates to the optical configuration that you are using. Thank you for clarifying.
great answer. And I'm betting that came from someone like you asking us that question for in the past. So great feedback at that point. Other questions? Someone wants to see the daily moon map guide. And Kayla, you put that link in the chat. Other questions from YouTube?
No other questions from YouTube on our end.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any more questions, we finished just on time. So we want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm gonna just one more recommendation to just register your event, to join us and the millions of people around the world to participate in the event. And we will see you next month. Oh, thank you for all
Shout
of
out to the ASP team. Thank you, everyone, making this webinar possible tonight. Thanks for having us.
Yes. And again, if you got anything from this webinar or if you didn't, please go to our survey and you can learn more about our symposium event that's coming up on August 21st and the free movie that will be on August 20th.
And our next webinar is on September 16th, where we welcome Rebecca Robinson, who's going to talk about NASA's MUSE mission. It's a solar mission, and it's a little bit different, and I'm not sure how it's different, but we're going to find out next month.
Yes. So join us here if you're an NSN member, or if you are a member of the public, you can also join via YouTube. Any last thoughts from anyone? Chanel said he wants to remind everyone to attend our ASP 2025 conference. It's going to be really amazing. There are 16 people who are leaders in astronomy who are going to be talking about questions that are really relevant to today. So please join us, and thank you so much.
I have one more thought before we go. If you are an active Night Sky Network club and you are a club coordinator, you can log in and you can ask to be sent some of those moon calendars that we have on our site. So we still have a few of those left. It's the end of our of what we ordered. So if you want to grab those and you're an active Night Sky Network club, go ahead and you can order some of those. We'll send them out in the next couple of weeks.
Right. And if you register your event, we also might send you a little package of digital resources from us as a thank you package for signing up and sharing your love of astronomy and love of the moon with the world.
And speaking of shipping, there's a few of you that should have received the solar toolkit. However, they came back to us without a mailing label on them. So if you think that you should have received one of those, it's quite possible that yours is downstairs without a label on it, and we don't know who they were supposed to go to. So please let us know if that was you.
Well, thank you for all your kind comments in the chat. That's really sweet. We love having you here, and we enjoy your feedback and your outreach events and all the sharing you do with us. Thank you. Good night, everybody. Especially you folks on the East Coast. Thanks for staying up so late and joining us.
Thanks, Kayla. Thanks, Sandlin. It was great to have you again. It's always
Thanks for
great.
having us.
This is definitely the best part of the week. It's so good to see you all.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you
Oh,
for
yeah.
everything you're doing.
Night.
Enjoy
Good
Minnesota
night.
and Michigan. Where are you, Minnesota? Yeah, enjoy that.
Yeah.
And thanks for everybody for your support tonight. Lori said astronomers stay up late.